Hi everyone, welcome to our first 2019 podcast. I'm here, Rob, with Dexter,
Hi.
Josh.
Hi.
Hi, and we're going to be talking about what we want to see from films in 2019, specifically Marvel films, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man Far From Home. So I think we'll start with Captain Marvel. What are you guys particularly looking forward to seeing in that film?
Well, I think it'll be interesting that it's a prequel. To see how that connects. I mean, I believe we're going to get the story of how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting, and I'm also a big fan of Phil Coulson, so I'm glad he'll come back for another film.
In the trailer, there's that shot of Nick Fury with his hand over his eye, I think, but it's not clear whether that's when he loses his eye or whether that's when he gets the sort of injury on top of it, which is seen later in the trailer. It'll be interesting to figure that out.
Isn't the injury a scratch?
Yeah, it's just some sort of scratch, but it seems like
do you reckon the cat scratched him?
Oh, Josh, I've read that same thing as well.
No, I'm not saying the cat took out his eye.
Why would it?
I don't know. Maybe the cat is a Skrull.
Why would it? If it turns out to be a Skrull, if it turns out to be
I will be laughing.
Then fine, you will be laughing. But why would it? If that happens, I would leave the cinema. If I'm even watching this,
we don't know enough about the film yet.
My enthusiasm towards this film is pretty low, and that's not just me being stubborn because this is the fourth time we're recording this. It's just that we've seen 18, 90 of these films now. We've got another origin story, and it just seems pretty dull from the dialogue.
Well, I read today that it's not going to be a simple origin story like Doctor Strange, like Iron Man.
But of course they're going to say
it's going to start immediately with her as, or whatever, as part of the Star Force, I think it's called. And it's going to sort of try to explain how she got there over the course of the film through like flashbacks, probably, which could be good. It could be.
I think because she doesn't have her memory, so it'll be her kind of trying to work it out along with the audience, which will make
which would be
more interesting than just showing whatever happens, the accident that then ends up with her as a Kree.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a new way for the MCU to do those origin stories. The other thing I quite liked was the way they did the origin stories for both Black Panther and Spider-Man. That their first solo movie wasn't really an origin story. So they sort of integrated them into the wider universe and then focused on them. So they did an origin story of them, like essentially as Avengers.
You mean like how Justice League did the same thing? About how they integrated.
Justice League failed to do that. So.
How they integrated the Flash and Aquaman within the file which Bruce Wayne clicks on when he just watches clips of them. Rob, you have no idea what I'm talking right now about, do you?
Well, I know the Flash is in it.
But that's good.
Well, it's worth noting that they haven't always been successful doing that. So, I mean, I don't think Scarlet Witch's introduction was very good. And certainly Quicksilver. I mean, I couldn't care less when Quicksilver died. And I guess I probably cared about Scarlet Witch the same amount then. So clearly it wasn't.
Scarlet Witch got a lot more interesting in Civil War.
And I agree that in
Age of Ultron, she was just kind of annoying.
And the accent, she starts off with the like Russian accent.
That's a bit weird.
And it just disappears by Infinity War, and it's so stupid.
I watched Infinity War again today. I realised she'd just given up.
Yeah, I know. And it's a much better choice, to be honest. Because that accent,
it is.
It's an abomination.
I don't think it was good.
Back to Captain Marvel. Something else I think is, I mean, like back when they announced the Phase 3 lineup and they said that Infinity War was going to be in 2 parts, and then they had this Captain Marvel film in between. I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how closely they'll connect it to Avengers Endgame, or leading into Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't mentioned whatsoever in the trailer, and I know that. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but I know that I thought originally, I can check, that Captain Marvel was supposed to be before Infinity War. if you look at the original Phase 3 announcement, yeah, I'm just getting the timeline up. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, you're correct. It was after Infinity War, but then they were going to do the
Yeah.
Inhumans.
I think they added a few other things. Yeah.
Yeah, they
And then
changed
took
it
some
around.
stuff away because
Totally.
they added Ant-Man and the Wasp and Spider-Man.
Oh, Josh, did you ever watch the Inhumans?
The TV show.
Yes, the TV show.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I've ever watched.
Did you watch all of it?
I did.
What?
I slogged through it.
Why? Apparently, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's awful, and the CGI looks.
Does it have
Mm.
Ramsey Bolton?
Would
in
not
it?
recommend. It
Oh,
does.
great.
You couldn't carry the
Yeah.
show.
Great.
Yeah, no, but I don't know what I can see happening is that they release Captain Marvel. There's some sort of connection to Endgame, and then
Obviously.
sometime just after it's released, they drop another Endgame trailer with some Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I
footage.
mean, my guess actually is that Endgame, they won't set up Endgame whatsoever.
The second Endgame trailer will be released around the same time as
Yeah,
Captain Marvel.
I don't think
Well, that's the way they're gonna get people in
I
cinemas.
don't think they'll use Captain Marvel to set up Endgame apart from a tiny bit in the post-credit scene. I can't really imagine that would be.
Mhm.
That's the only interesting thing about. That's the only interesting thing about the whole film, to be honest, is they've done an Ant-Man and a Wasp. They're just gonna make a very uncompelling film, of which I'm just gonna look up what happened in the end credit scene. I probably won't even watch Captain Marvel in the cinema.
That's okay.
It looks bad.
Cool.
I
Good for you.
disagree. I don't think it'll be at all like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think it'll be more interesting than Ant-Man and
Wait,
the
what?
Wasp. I think.
I think it'll be far more
I mean,
interesting.
it's not very hard.
Okay, I mean, yeah, true, but it'll be only marginally more interesting.
Well, we'll have to find out because a lot of them are better than you
We'll
expect,
see.
and then some of them are worse. You know.
hmm
That's not true. Which ones are better than you expect?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
No.
No one expected that.
I expected it to be okay, and it was slightly worse than that.
So I don't understand how you're such
You
a
have
big
beef with
Marvel
that
fan
film.
if you hate all the Marvel
know, you
movies.
hate,
You don't even watch them.
75% of the films.
I mean, that's just statistically not true, though, is it? I don't like. It just. I'm just, I'm just keeping it real. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy isn't that good. Ant-Man is not good. Ant-Man and the Wasp is bad.
You haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. You can't say it's bad.
Yes, but because I'm such a die-hard fan of this franchise, when I decide not to watch a film, indicates that I know it's going to be bad. And
What?
But
was
you-
I
you
wrong?
don't-
Was I wrong? Was Ant-Man and the Wasp good?
Well, no, but I'm
Guys?
so glad I
Fine.
paid the
It
money.
was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. There
Yeah.
wasn't anything wrong with it. It just wasn't up to the scratch of all the other
It was still
Phase
better
3
than
films.
anything off the DC's put out.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Man of Steel is better than
Okay,
Ant-Man
yeah,
and
actually,
the
fair
Wasp.
enough.
Josh.
The only
First of
one
all,
I
you
saw
can't
was
make these
Wonder
statements
Woman.
because you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
I've seen like random clips of it. You just have really
that's not seeing
uncompelling
the whole
film.
film.
I basically know exactly what's gone on.
If
and I've
you
seen
saw
all,
like
the
random
big
clips of
set
Infinity
pieces were
War,
bad. What?
if you saw random clips of Infinity War, you couldn't say you'd seen the film.
Yeah, that's not the point. I know. I know it's a bad film. It's just a bad film. There's nothing we can do. Why are you so defensive about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Josh?
I'm not. I'm just saying that you can't make judgments if you haven't seen the film.
I can because I've seen bits of the film. Unless you're saying that, like the bits I haven't seen are all magically amazing and have transformed the film. Have
I'm not
they?
saying it transformed the film, but just the whole film is worth watching.
It's not worth
Okay.
watching. But-
On to Avengers Endgame.
Stay on track.
Yes, exactly. What do we
Stop
want
saying
to
that.
see from Endgame specifically? I mean, obviously, it's the big one. But is there anything sort of specific other than how do they get all the characters back that you would like to see that maybe isn't so much topic of discussion generally?
I mean, this probably is a topic of discussion, but it is the end of the MCU as we know it. So I want to see.
It's the end of the game.
I want to see a satisfying ending for the fans.
Well, that's rare, Josh.
That's
No,
nobody has mentioned that.
I was gonna walk in and hope that they kind of mess it up. See, this is the amazing critique and amazing comments and discussion that you get only on our podcast. Stay on track. I just want a satisfying ending for the fans.
Exclusive content.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So let's actually give an actual answer, Josh. I want to cry with whatever they have
Yes,
to
actually,
end
I agree.
Steve's arc. Actually, from this whole saga of films, because he's the only one that has firmly said, and he tweeted like a couple of, I don't know, times really relative to them. I was like a month ago maybe, like Chris Evans tweeted out saying, "What an emotional last day of filming," which is clearly derailed by the Russo brothers being like, "It wasn't that emotional." But I think that's just because it kind of implied that Captain America is going to die. I personally said to you guys already, I do think he's going to die. I think they're going to send him back to World War II era so he can live out the rest of his life with Bucky, because he's like the saddest character.
And Peggy.
Don't forget Peggy.
Wait, what did I just say?
Bucky.
Oh, yeah. Well, that could be true as well.
Do you think
I
Bucky
guess
will
that's
get a film? If they don't,
Wasn't there going to be a Bucky Falcon?
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, there is.
Disney
There's going to be a
Plus
Bucky
TV show.
Falcon film.
No.
Oh no, yeah. There's going to be a TV show about it. I
Mm.
think out of the two, if one of them were to carry on the mantle as Captain America, it should be Bucky, because his story arc as, I've got weird stuff in my brain that makes me go mental. That's over
No,
now.
actually, I do
like,
agree. I think Falcon's got enough to keep going. As he
yeah,
is.
because he hasn't really been explored.
No. Falcon is a secondary Avenger, and so is Bucky, but Falcon's just sort of there.
But Falcon's got enough to
But
keep going as
Bucky-
like a secondary Avenger.
And
Yeah,
also,
but Bucky
Falcon
has
has not
been-
been explored yet.
Mhm.
Like,
exactly. No one feels any sort of emotional attachment to Falcon.
Okay, but if I
Whereas
had emotional
Bucky,
attachment, it's kind of
people
run its
do.
course with Bucky. Like,
I
what
don't
more
think
does
so.
it say?
They could-
What more
they
does it
could-
say about him?
They could. I don't know. I mean, what they could do anything in Endgame.
Mhm.
Right.
One thing I quite want to see in Endgame is how the quantum realm is used in the film.
Oh, yawn.
So if it's a sort of, but rather not just like how if it's used, but like is it used as the way to get all the characters back? Those time vortices that they mention for no reason other than I think to set up Endgame in Ant-Man and the Wasp, or is it sort of more subtle? I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm
going
sort of
back to
interested
Captain
in that.
Marvel, they've said that the quantum realm will be explored more through that film.
What, in the Captain Marvel?
Yeah,
So
So
I
it's
think
taking cues from Ant-Man. Great. That's good.
but I think then that will lead into Endgame even more, because obviously the quantum realm has something to do with it. If Scott is showing up at the Avengers facility with the mini quantum tunnel.
Scott, I didn't realize that you were on first name basis with Scott Lang. Josh, thank you very much.
Well, he's not showing
Actually,
up.
do you know what I do want?
What do you
The
want?
two things which I just remembered that I really want. One is I want them to deal with the big three, as in Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. I want them to be dealt with well. I'm hoping that this is like Cap will probably just be discarded and not really used, as in Steve Rogers. He'll hopefully be sent back to live his life. I'd be happy for him there. I hope Tony Stark doesn't die, because that would just be too much. I hope he just retires and is like a mentor character. And I hope that like Chris Hemsworth's Thor just carries on, because he's like the best now. People have only just started to like him. It'd be a shame, like, because people only started liking him after Ragnarok, which was like released a year ago. Like, it'd be a bit ridiculous now that he's finally getting some recognition and praise that they just kill him off as well.
I don't actually think they will kill Thor,
I don't think
No.
they will either.
because he seems to be the least eager of the three big ones to leave the MCU.
He has said, hasn't he, that he wants to.
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
and I don't think they'll give him another standalone film.
But I think he'd be quite good, I don't know, in Guardians 3 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he had chemistry with the Guardians when he was on screen with them in Infinity War.
Yeah, but Guardians 3 is a whole different like thing. I doubt that's ever going to be made. It'll be made probably in 5 years' time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Marvel
I have no
has
idea
so
if they're
many
ever going to
other
release it.
films. Like,
Well, haven't they?
up there
They've delayed filming by like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's not gonna work.
I think Thor will be in it though. I think that would be a good way for him to carry on, and he doesn't have to stay in it, forever. He could just be there for one film or something. But I think that they should kill Iron Man.
What?
Have Captain America. I like your idea of him going back in time.
Thank you.
And then
It's a really good idea.
Thor. Yeah, I think that'd be good.
And
What about Hulk?
I don't
Hulk's
care.
nothing. And the second thing which I'd like is for them to actually make an Iron Man armor with good CGI, because they haven't done that for 2 years now. Actually, no, 3 years now, because we're in 2019. Ever since actually, no, I wouldn't say. When was the last time his armor was actually like well done? I can remember in Civil War was when it was most apparently quite bad. To keep
It
it all
was really
PG.
It was really weird.
Actually,
I
because I was I think the reason for that was because it was like his head was everything was CGI except for his head, and it was a green
You know that
screen in the
Black
background.
Panther poster?
Which one?
Remember the Black Panther poster where it had Black Panther's head on the suit and it just looked ridiculous? It
What?
was sort
I
of
don't
like that
remember
the
that.
whole film in Civil War. With
It was very jarring. It's because they had the green screen in the background, I think.
Yeah.
The CGI on Black Panther was also really bad. Can we at least admit that?
Yeah, I think everyone admits the CGI in Black Panther was pretty
Especially in
bad.
the last act, the fight scene, the crazy climax of the film.
With the rhinos, and I was just,
Oh yeah. Also, they're gonna need to sort something out with Black Panther before they make his next solo film. Another thing they should do in Endgame, or at some point in the future, is that in Avengers: Infinity War, when in the Battle of Wakanda, they like the people on Earth, because they're all inherently kind of underpowered and a bit rubbish, apart from Scarlet Witch. There's that bit where they start getting overpowered by what are they called? Are they called Outriders?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's when Thor comes in and says, "Bring me Thanos." Amazing scene. However, Black Panther is just stuck in an indestructible vibranium armor, so he could just lie there and it would make no difference. Whereas like Steve Rogers has just got an old costume with rolled up sleeves, so he's actually in danger of being like bitten or something. But T'Challa is just stuck in a
suit.
Black Panther. Wait, what?
What? Sorry, no. His shield is so odd.
Yeah.
I don't really.
That's actually here's something I want to see in Endgame. Cap needs to get his shield back.
Yeah, and Tony Stark needs to give it to him.
Ooh, that'd be good.
That's probably the scene I'm looking forward to most in Endgame.
What, the first time they
going to
speak
happen?
again?
Because if it doesn't happen, I'll be quite annoyed.
I'll be quite annoyed as well.
Steve and Tony.
I hope the next trailer doesn't reveal anything. The first trailer didn't reveal a thing. I hope the second one doesn't either.
No, I mean, actually, remember I said this to you when we first saw the first trailer for Avengers: Endgame. The bit at the end of the main part where they have like a tiny little bit afterwards, which is wasted on Ant-Man at this point. They should have had a reunion, just like the first bit of like Steve and Tony like seeing each other again, and then just cutting out. That would have been better. But
that would have spoiled the start of the trailer. Because we don't know what's going to happen there.
Oh really, Josh? This is another part.
We don't even.
You've got.
So you're
He's floating in space.
No, I'm saying it would ruin the.
You're genuinely walking in and thinking that Tony Stark's going to die within the first couple of minutes of the film to have no effect later on, out of starvation and lack of oxygen.
No, but the whole tone the trailer is setting is that the Tony Stark bit is completely separate from the other bit. And that would be ruined by
10 years in the MCU, dies because he suffers.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously Tony Stark's going to survive.
I'm not saying no, but the point of the trailer is that it's emphasizing his desperate situation.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked. I also think they should not, and I know marketing reasons, blah blah blah, but they should not have revealed Hulk was going to be in Ragnarok.
Same.
No, they should have.
It would have been much better had they not.
It's because that film, because it's a bit like how Civil War had enough going for it already that they didn't have to reveal the Giant Man stuff. And everyone was like, "Whoa!"
No one cares about
Giant Man. No, it was pretty cool. It's pretty good spectacle as action scenes go.
Yeah,
but Ragnarok really has nothing else, so they would have gained more by people knowing and then going and being like, "I'm gonna see Thor and Hulk together," as opposed to having it be a surprise.
I think they would have made just as much, well, maybe not just, but basically the same amount of money had they not. Okay, so with 10 minutes left, we could talk about, so let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, because that's sort of the most interesting one, I think, to discuss. Because
what? Did you just say that?
Yes, because
it's the most interesting one to discuss.
because it's the one where we actually know a lot of who's in it, but we don't really know how it's going to work. Endgame, where it's just a blank slate. But so it's not clear to me whether Mysterio is actually the main villain.
Well, he's not at the start, at least. Although people think that he'll turn evil halfway through.
Okay, because he's working with Spider-Man at some point.
At the start. So I think Nick Fury, from what we know from the Brazil Comic-Con trailer, or the description of it, Nick Fury recruits Spider-Man to work with him and Mysterio, but Mysterio, they've only recruited him because he knows about these elementals.
Right, and there's the one that attacks him in Venice. The big water one is going to attack Spider-Man in Venice. Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting. Is Nick Fury working for Shield at this point?
Well,
will Shield come back in Endgame?
It's a good question.
Well,
if they're doing time travel stuff,
in
because
the behind-the-scenes photos, the set photos, you see Tony Stark walking around with blonde hair in a backdrop which is similar to the. You see an older version of Tony Stark with lighter hair, walking around with a Shield uniform on, talking to a 2012 Captain America. So,
well,
is that for Endgame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this is present day. So is Shield going to be coming back for home, for present day, for Far From Home?
I don't think so. I think.
Do you not?
No, I think they may do a successor to Shield or something. Maybe Maria and Nick Fury will join forces as or join some other people. I don't know, and just have a little Avengers protection.
I mean, from the Infinity War post-credit scene, we've seen that Nick Fury and Maria Hill are working together, and also, I believe it's Hill who tells Fury, or no, maybe the other way around, but tells them to contact. I can't remember his name, but it's that guy who Rumlow tries to kill in Winter Soldier.
Who?
The computer.
Oh,
he's the guy that says, "I can't do it. Captain's orders." I respected him quite a lot, actually, because that's a very difficult position.
Did you see the Gallagher guy?
Average Joe to be in.
Yeah, I did.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I don't know why they did that.
Dexter, you don't like any of the jokes.
What?
No, I mean
that's a joke to you, Rob. Death is a joke to you. Oh, what? Oh, no, what are you talking about? No, Josh, you get what I'm saying, don't you? Rob's just gone insane for the last couple of minutes.
Okay. Anyway, so any other films that we are particularly looking forward to in 2019?
Yes, so many actually. Toy Story 4, Jack Wick, Parabellum.
Okay.
That's basically it, actually.
Wick?
I've never heard of Jack Wick. I know John.
Oh no, not Jack Wick. John Wick. John Wick.
I knew who John Wick was. I thought it was just called John Wick 3.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh no, it is Parabellum.
John Wick Chapter 3.
It's John Wick Parabellum.
IMDb says John Wick Chapter. Oh yes, now it says Parabellum. Okay, fine.
Rob, that's just I don't know.
Whatever.
Why we're having a discussion about this?
I do not care about Star Wars Episode 9. I don't know if Dexter, did you watch?
I haven't watched any of them, but I thought we were going to talk about Shazam.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that what we're going to talk about for the last
Shazam.
So for me, the Shazam trailer looked good, up to the point where actual Shazam appeared.
No, I thought it was fine. I appreciate that you're right. His costume looks like it's from a toy store and it's like 20 quid and is foam. But
do you know what though? I think they can pull that off as part of the story. As in the whole concept of Shazam is that he's a kid and that he gets the powers of a superhero. And I think I don't really know, but I think that the person that he becomes is what he imagines a superhero is like.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has these crazy muscles would be how a kid would perceive, Superman in that.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it.
So you can say that his crazy, somewhat overly muscled costume or is kind of serves a purpose, I guess you could argue. But again, I'm
worried that they're going to do DC humor again, and it's not going to be good.
Well, the trailer was already somewhat entertaining, and I think that's a good sign.
It wasn't somewhat entertaining.
No,
I was
just really surprised. I mean, look, the Aquaman trailer. I have not seen Aquaman yet, but it gave me.
No, neither.
I just saw it. I got fatigue from watching it of all these massive monster sharks.
Do you mean Aquaman?
These massive monster sharks. You know, I was just overloaded. But Shazam felt a little fresher for DC, and I don't know. Maybe I'll go see it.
I'm not gonna see that. It just looks terrible.
I thought it looked quite lame.
Yeah, as in because they released both of the trailers for Aquaman. I don't know what Aquaman you're talking about, Rob. But for Aquaman, they released a trailer alongside the Shazam trailer. I think it was from the Comic-Con last summer, of some sort, whichever Comic-Con.
San Diego.
And they just both seemed quite bad, but in very different ways. In that Aquaman just seemed dull, whereas Shazam just seemed incredibly cringe. Like when you see Shazam flossing, it was just ridiculous. You know how Zachary Levi plays Shazam? I'm not really sure I like him, to be honest.
Wasn't he like Fandral in Thor 2?
Yeah, he was. He's part of the Warriors 3. Do you know who they are,
I've heard
Rob?
of the Warriors 3. I don't remember.
Dexter, do you know who they are? Having only
What?
seen 2/3 of the Thor films.
Josh, are you kidding me? I just said the Warriors
Yeah, I know.
3. He's part of the merry men that get like indistinguishably killed very easily and very quickly in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Well, it's somewhat alarming that Rob, who's seen all of these films, especially bragging about watching Thor: The Dark
Josh,
World,
no, I know who
doesn't actually know who
I
the
know who
Warriors
they
3
are. They look like they're from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Rob, we just have a 2-minute recording of you on this podcast clarifying that you don't actually know who they are.
I'm googling.
I don't know what you're talking about. You can't just declare a couple of minutes after we've spoken about it and explain who they are. I know who they are. God. Again, Josh, you better keep this
Well,
in.
what are their three names? What are their three names? Can you do that?
Fandral, Hogan, and
Oh, no,
Volstagg.
For God's sake.
That's just
That's just
lame.
weird.
That's just sad, Josh. Why do you care about these like lame, uneventful characters?
Just know their names, yeah. It's like
Okay, fine.
anyway.
But yeah, Zachary Levi, I don't think he's very good.
Well,
Yeah. No, I don't think he looked great either. I think.
It's gonna
Actually,
be a
no, I think
bad
if the
film.
whole film decides not to take itself seriously, then it may actually be good.
yeah.
Because at the moment, it looks like a film that shouldn't take itself seriously because it just looks ridiculous.
But he's just all the jokes in it are just so annoying. Everything Shazam says is just annoying. Like when he says to the wizard, huh, "Shazam, is that a joke?" And he just yells at him. That's not funny. When he walks out of the liquor store and he says, "Hey, I'm a superhero," I just wanted to punch him in the face. This is not good at all. I actively dislike him. I'm actively disliked or found annoying any superhero in any superhero film to this date, apart from Shazam, just from that
What
one
about
trailer.
Ant-Man?
When he's just like charging everyone's
No,
nose.
he's just bad.
I
He's
like
just
Ant-Man as a character. As a character, I like Ant-Man, but I don't like his
Okay.
films.
Having not seen one of them.
You say all of them.
I said one.
But
Half.
okay, yeah, and there's a point to that. Oh, this whatever.
Okay, Dexter, would you like to say goodbye?
What?
Well, you're leaving for a month, so I thought you said you
Oh, yeah, but we
wanted to
talked
do an
about-
emotional farewell.
But I don't know whether I said that in the first cut or the third cut of our intro. So I didn't. So assuming that was actually part of this fourth version of this recording we've done today. Yep. So it's kind of funny actually. I've got the whole floor to myself. So to all of our listeners, I'm gonna be going away for 1 month. So I'm gonna be leaving this podcast under the leadership of Josh and Rob, who quite frankly I don't really have much faith in. The topics which they're going to be talking about, I'm not really sure, but I really hope for the podcast's sake that you guys stick through. Actually, or just tune off and then just come back when I come back, because I'm obviously the life and soul of this podcast, and that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for
Okay.
that.
Take care.
All right, Dexter, thank you very much. We'll miss you somewhat. And yes, to everyone else, we'll see you next week.